Hi, and welcome to our Sprint6 artifact review for the Learning at Scale Data Dictionary project. We use this sprint to ease back into development after a long winter break. Our objectives for this sprint were, first, to finalize our prototype so that starting from February, we can conduct interviews with end users. Second, to set up the database structure and connect it to the backend using Django. Third, to establish a basic admin interface that allows us to manage data directly through Django. And lastly, to refine our project goals for the semester. Now I will show you how these goals translate into our working software components. I will start from the final prototype. I will be displaying a short video of prototype presentation. This prototype will be used during the interviews with end users so we can collect more feedback and gain more insight for future work. The prototype was created in Figma. Now let's go to the database structure. We created the database schema in PostgreSQL and also created tables for each section of the data dictionary. The tables were populated with sample data to validate their structure. Let me show you one of the tables with sample data. The database is hosted on an AWS EC2 instance, which makes it accessible for all team members. This is our cloud server and this is our database. Using Django, we configure the project to connect to this PostgreSQL database. This was the information required to connect to the cloud server data of the database. And after running the proper command, we will be directly in our database. Let's run the same SQL command and we will be getting an identical table from the database. So you can see that the database is now fully operational and integrated. Now let's check our backend. Backend was created using Django, as I mentioned. We also created a couple of models to ensure its functionality. Particularly, we created tooltip model and tested it to ensure it maps correctly to the database schema. If we go to our database, we can see the corresponding table, this one, for the tooltip model created in Django. Let's check what is in that table. We see there is one row. Let's run our backend server. This is our backend server running right now. We also implemented and tested basic CRUD operations for the created models. Let me show you an example of GET request. This is the GET request. We see the same tooltip table content. And let's run one more GET request. Another important deliverable was setting up the admin interface in Django. Let's go to admin dashboard. So admin users can log in and manage data through this dashboard. Let's add one more tooltip. It was added. And now let's check our database. So we see that our tooltip table was updated. And the backend is still in its early stages, but we now have a solid foundation to build on. Now let's check our front end. Okay, this is the web interface for the data dictionary. This is one of the pages. So front end is still in its basic form, but we now have the solid backend with working APIs, which will allow us to fetch data from the database and display it in the UI. Also, we reviewed our progress from last semester and set clear goals for this term. This will help us to align with sponsor expectations and ensure that we are on track. This was all what we have so far. Now that we have a strong and solid foundation, we can build more advanced features in the upcoming sprints. Thank you for watching.